Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube. Hey, Niall Motormouth Jenkins here in the Car Connection Workshop, bringing you back onto the 78 anniversary Corvette that we're working on, putting on a factory aluminum intake and getting the height down on the intake so that we can actually close the hood. Yeah, so as funny as it sounds, that's where we're at, and we're getting to it now. So come along for the ride. We're now installing the intake gaskets, and we're minutes away from installing the intake that we're going to be using on this engine. I just wanted to show you, I've got one gasket in there now coated with the copper seal, both sides. I scored it on both sides of the gasket, and it's kind of dropped a little bit, but that's okay. We can just gently move that up. And it is very sticky, so it's so important. I put a dowel pin in here to help me. So that's going to help navigate me down on one end, so I can come down and get a bolt started here, and then I can get a bolt started here and get a bolt started there. And that will hold me into position, because we got to put RTV down on these two flanges here. We're not using those black, I call them licorice gaskets. So here's how I'm folding in all my dirt. Is I make sure that I roll it in. Don't allow the end of your cloth to drop down, because you're going to let all that crud go in. Just roll it and hold it with the other hand, and then bring this piece in here, and voila, like a baby diaper. And then just check for any big pieces. I'll just do a little wipe in there with a cloth and make sure there is, you're always going to have some, but we want to eliminate as much as we possibly can. So that's the key. And don't use those cloths for anything else. That's it. They're gone. This one we can use just to wipe out the top of the motor. Just make sure, we got any kind of weirdness hanging around. Just clean it off. I mean, that's what the oil filter's for, but I like to make sure we don't have any big chunkies or anything sitting around. Oh, jeez. Did you see what I just did? I touched my gasket. Yeah, that was bad. That's okay. I'll bring some spray over. I'll touch it up. Got my arm on there. The hairy side of my arm. Okay. Yeah, let's just touch that up. Got me good, too. Alright, so again, just make sure. I should have done this before I put that gasket on, but got a little ahead of myself, and it happens. Just don't do it again a second time. So I'll just spray a little bit of that stuff on there right now and touch that up. Really? There we go. Think I've done this before? Yes. And is it worth doing it? Yes. Just do it. Just let that tack up. Okay. Whoa! We're just having a good time over here, folks. It's a great time. We're having just a great time over here. Drop my bolts. Got my washers, had everything all perfect. Not anymore, but that's just par for the course. Just a redo. Not to worry. Don't panic, babies. What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know. I lost my 9/16 wrench somewhere. Hey, Skippy. Found it! Yippee! Yeah, it just slid off because the paint is so polished on this car. It's crazy. Crazy good. All right, we're back. We're back. And like I said, you know what? You're going to have issues. Just take your time. Don't get flustered. Okay, I'm going to go get the other gasket. And a little bit being on these valve covers, that doesn't bug me at all because they're going. They're not staying. They're going. Okay, I'll go get the other gasket, and I'll be back in just a minute. It's hanging on the wash line. Who knew? And I don't know where Skippy went. Do we know? Oh! Are we playing hide and seek again? You have to, the rules are you have to let me know. Yeah. Apparently not. Okay, this one is ready. So that product is very sticky. And it stays sticky. You don't let it dry. So I'm going to get in here. You come in. Which way? What are you doing? What are you doing, Skippy? Okay, we have to get this onto there. And again, make sure you check your gasket. Which side is up? There it is. Right there. This side up. So I'm going to use that dowel. It's going to be my friend for two reasons. Because usually when you're doing this, you have a buddy help you navigate it down. But when you're on your own, you got to do what you got to do. That's what I say. You got to do what you got to do. So make yourself a little dowel to help you. Okay. That's really sticky. I just need to clean my hands for one moment with a little bit of brake parts cleaner. Yeah, that stuff is, that's like really sticky. Think of the biggest, stickiest thing and then times it times 2. Biggest, stickiest thing. Okay, so now we need to prep so we've got our cloths out, double check, look and make sure you haven't forgotten anything or anybody's. My gasket's sliding down a bit, but that'll be all right. In just a minute, we'll have that rendered. So here's the silicone. The RTV, actually, it's not silicone, it's RTV. It's not to be mixed up with SUV or anything else. So brand new fresh tube is what I like to use for the job. And the reason being is I need it to spread nice and even. So I'm going to cut my tube to about a 1/4 inch bead. So I just come over here and I just place that right there. And I'm going to cut the tube on an angle. And these blades are really good. You got to watch it because it'll get you. So just cut that tube off. You know, not a great big 3/8 chunk. I just remembered, you know what? I came up with a better method. I'm going to make these pliers available. Watch this. This is killer. What do you think of that? I'm not going to tell you what those are, but I use those for clipping wiring and everything. You got to have a set of those in your toolbox. Cutting off zip ties. So in the end of the tube, they give you an opener. See that point? Put it in there, push it all the way down, and turn it. Okay, and then you're going to need to keep that handy because that's going to be your guy to close it off. So we're going to put this on here, and we're going to get our RTV down on here. So I need some real good light here. So I just get the bottom. I had a tool for this, and I can't get another one. It squeezes it for you. So I want a really good bead on that corner. You don't have to go crazy, but you want to seal it off. This is your answer. Let me tell you. Put a good bead on the corner, and then you're going to go across. Don't get your arm in the gasket. Just saying. So I'm going to come back along here. That's it. That's all you need on there. Now you're going to do the other side. I usually put a pretty decent bead on here on the corner here. I don't go crazy, but I also don't get cheesy with it either. So the gasket's kind of walking a bit, but it's all right. Don't panic. We're going to be dropping down on this thing in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to need that out of here. Put it up there, somewhere where I can see what I'm doing here. It's just like baking a cake, actually icing it. I'm pretty good at icing a cake. We'll have to do a couple of programs. Nilo cooking for you. Cooking and baking a cake or a pie. What's your favorite pie? Let me know in the comments. What's your favorite pie? My favorite pie is strawberry rhubarb. That's my go-to. So, and yeah, you know, you can buy these cans where it's pre-charged, but you know what? I find you waste a lot. And if you buy this in a really big tube, if you're not using it all the time, you lose it. That's all I need. So, we just wipe that off. Close that off right away if you can. Just close that off and then clear this tube out before it gets used up and dried up. Just wipe the top and you can get a lot of usage out of one of these tubes. I get more out of that than buying a cartridge. I used to buy the cartridges all the time and I was like throwing stuff out. Okay, so we need the intake of manifold. Coming. You know what I'm going to do? You coming out? Okay, Skippy, why don't you skip on over there? Yeah, you don't want to touch that after you've put your RTV on there because that'll really cheese you off. It really will. So I just want to lay this here and get 4 bolts ready for me. And you don't have to like freak out to get this done, but you don't want your RTV setting up too long. So I'll just set 4 bolts ready to go in for me. Once I have 4 bolts in, then the rest of it is get your bolts in and just start snugging them down. I like to go around 23 foot-pounds, so if you're going to use a torque wrench, 23 foot-pounds is good, but always look up your specifications anyway. I might have missed something. You know, after you've been in the trade long enough, we know as older fellas what tight is. We know what tight is, and we know what over tight is. We know that all that. It's not new to us, but it's definitely hard to teach someone that. I think I want a little bit more on that corner. So what I will do is take the lid off just the way it is. And I need the light. Yeah, I want a little bit more in that corner right there. Right there. A little bit more right there. And just a little bit more right there. Good. All right, we're ready to land it. We just slide that up a little bit. It'll stay sticky for quite a while. Ready, Freddy, coming in. This is the intake we're using. See how easy that's going in? I'm not fighting it. That's why you clean the bolt holes out. That's why you take your time and just get it happening. So we might be down a little bit on that side, so here's what I do. I just need to turn it a bit. So I take my heel bar and I'll just go into there and I'll just move that. See how easy the bolts are going in? That's what you want. That's a good install. You're going to be just fine. And you say, how am I going to get that out? I cut a groove in the top. So you got a nice bead coming out the back and a nice bead coming out the front. And I know I'm in good shape. So I'll get a couple more bolts in here. So we got them all ready here in my container. So again, you just load up some more bolts. And you don't do anything with anything until they're all in. That's the way it works. Don't do anything with anything until they're all in. And just take your time and hurry up. And that's what I got this for, is I know I got it started. I got just a little bit of a hesitation there, and then I'll get past that and I'll be able to spin it down with my fingers. I'm not having to force it in. I'm not having to wrestle with it, because if you do, you know what? You're making a mistake. Yeah. Shouldn't have to wrestle with it. If you got to wrestle with it, something's not right. If I got to get in there and get a pry bar and I'm trying to get these in, are you kidding me? No. You want to drop that thing down just like I did. And you can do it on your own. I've worked many years by myself. Trust me, I have to come up with ways to figure out how to do it without anybody around. There's probably a few of you fellers out there who do the same thing. You gotta work safer because nobody's around. Nobody's gonna come and check on you. They're just, they're busy. They're doing their thing. So you gotta work safer and you gotta work better. That's all. And this is what I like. Take my time. I made sure all the bolt holes clean. Everything's clean. And I can get the bolts all started by hand. And I've already had the intake manifold sitting on there. And do your dry run. It's no different than, if you're a musician, there's only a few guys that I can play with. We can just not play together for a long time, sit down and jam for 5 minutes, and we can tear off about 10 songs because we played together for so long. But with this, you just learn ways to do it and do it the same every time. It works. So now we're not going to have the problem using the lock washers under the bases of the bolts. We're not going to have the problem where the flat washer is feeding itself into the hole of the intake manifold, because that ain't going to cut the mustard. You're going to have problems, big ones. So, guys, just do the job right. That's all I'm saying. Do the job right. You know, don't be sloppy, and don't be a backyard hacker. So I had the shop. I'll tell you, I'd get some stuff towed in, and I'd open the hood and close the hood and just go, I'm not touching that. They're like, what? What? I go, I'm not touching that. You have already done enough mess there that it would take me way too long to fix it. And I'd say, you know what? You can't pay me that much time. This is going to cost you a fortune. So, because I need to be turning cars out, not making a project. So you want to make sure you're on the ball. Because if you think you're going to get into something, you know, here's the thing. If you get into something and you start to see it's a little too much for you, just stop. That's my best advice for you. So like something like this. If you don't have the tooling and you don't have the know-how and you're not sure of yourself, then have someone like me work alongside you. You know, get somebody who knows what they're doing to come over and help you and just be another, you know, guide you and encourage you. And guess what? You'll be able to do it. You will be able to do it. Because if I can do it, you can do it. So now, how many do I have left? One. Well, guess where this one goes? It goes where I created that little stud. See, the trick here is your manifold is on an angle, right? It's not flat. It's cut like this, like a V. So it's hard. I could have probably cut down one more stud and made it shorter like this and put it back here, and I would have been able to plop it on there. But since I'm working on this side, and that bolt is being my apprentice or my helper, I managed to do it. But if this was a heavy manifold, and then when you make one of these studs, always make sure you just cut a little groove in the top so you can get a screwdriver in there. And this is the one I always use. It's a nice little thin screwdriver. I can get it into that groove and thread my guide bolt out of there. So that should go right in there like Jack the Bear. So I am going to carry on and tighten all those down and get them all torqued down to where they need to be. And then when I get to that point, we'll bring you back and I'll start building it back up. We got to put the thermostat housing on. We've got to drop the distributor in back here. And again, make sure any openings where stuff can get into the motor or get into a galley somewhere, close them off. The thermostat goes here. The distributor is going to drop in back here. We have a gasket to go in there. This is the heater hose. We don't have a heater yet, but that's where one of the hoses is going to go. And I have to put a tube in down here for the inlet and outlet. So inlet and outlet. And we'll get some heat back in this car as well. So that's where we're at. We'll leave it there. I'll get it. I don't need to bore you tightening those bolts down, but when you're doing it, you'd want to do it this way, fellas and fellettes and girls and gals and dolls and guys. Here, 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 and then here, and then here, then here, then there, then here, then there. So you want to go crisscross. That's all you got to know. Crisscross. Here, 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 here. Then you can, if you want, you could jump there, but I don't. I go here, and then I'll go here, then I'll go here. Then I'll go there, then I'll go here. And then I'll wrap up over here, and then I'll do the same sequence. So start in the middle and just work your way out. If you're not sure, piece of cardboard, draw the holes, and draw your line with a Sharpie and arrow it. Or you put, on here we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 holes. 12 circles. So you got 6 circles down one side, 6 circles down the other, and then just number them. Put a number in the circle. This is 1, that's 2, this is 3, this is 4, that's 5, this is 6, that's 7, this is 8, that's 9, this is 10, that's 11, that's 12, and you're done. So we'll leave it right there. I'm going to do my homework and get all these bolts torqued down, and we'll bring you back for segment number 4. 5, I think. We'll just go with quad 4. Quad 4, segment quad 4. And we'll see you in the next one. So be sure to like, share, follow us on Facebook, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, and put a comment down in the comment section. What's your favorite pie? I'll bake one for you and we'll video that. You'll get to see Chef Nilo. So hit that ringy the bell so that you make sure that you're notified when new videos are coming out. So we always drop videos in our YouTube channel, Niall Motormouth Jenkins. 2 for Tuesday and 1 on Friday. So 3 videos a week is what you're getting. And watch them all, share them with your friends, and put a comment down there because all that stuff helps us move the channel out to more and more people. So keep it under 100. Happy motoring, and put the coffee on because we're coming to your house.